ai waiofua me te raroa. E tipu aki au I tāma ki makaurau, engari kei te noho au I te whangaunui ātara I te ahiahi nei. He kai tāpuru au no ngā kapa e rua, ko te Robin Hood Stars me te kapa ngā kāponga. I haere au te kuratuaroa o Wairaka, I tāma ki makaurau, no reira tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Kia ora everybody, like JT said, my name is Mai, and you heard that I dabble a little bit in sport. I grew up in Auckland and I went to Mount Albert Grammar School, or MAGS as it is known as. And how long have I been out of school? I was there in 2011 and I graduated in 2015. So it seems like a while ago for me, but not as long as it was for JT, as I assume. I am, like I said, I'm born and raised in Auckland, and I think one thing that's really important for me is knowing my identity and how that is really at the core of who I am. So I'm proud young Māori woman, and I think one of the benefits for me is that one of my iwi on my dad's side was actually based in Auckland. So I grew up on my marae, and for a lot of urban Māori who live in centres like Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, even maybe Dunedin, don't necessarily get the privilege of being able to visit their marae or grow up on their marae. So that was I was very fortunate to have that upbringing. And then in the same sense, my mum is from this beautiful paradise in the far north called the Hokianga. And sometimes I don't necessarily always feel connected to that place because time in Auckland, and I didn't necessarily get to get up there as much. For me, love baking. In my spare time, if you find me, I would be in my bed watching Netflix. And my internet's saying it's unstable. I'm actually watching Amazon Prime at the moment, which I think is way better than Netflix. So if you fellas can get your parents to get you on there, I reckon try and get that for Christmas. Being an athlete, so being born and raised in Auckland, I play for the Robin Hood Stars, which JT talked about, and we're based in South Auckland. But I actually live half the year in Auckland from January to July, and then the second half of the year in Wellington. So I have been doing that this is probably going on to 6 years now, of living in 2 different cities, which can be quite busy and quite hard. So I actually live in Wellington because my partner lives down here. And for those of you who are from Auckland like I was, I didn't know how busy it was until I left. Now, when I'm down here, don't worry about no traffic. My parents don't have to be taking me to trainings and sitting in a car for an hour. I live 2 minutes down the road from my training. So I'm loving Wellington, and still a city, but still small enough to be able to get around. So one of the things JT briefed me on is you guys have been working on how to deal with challenges and being resilient. And it can be really hard when you're at high school and there's so many different things going on. For some of you might just be starting and it's all about making new friends, getting out of your comfort zone. It could be learning new teachers or sports. Something that I threw myself into was sports. So a lot of the things that I struggled with around your age was I had my parents split when I was about 13, which is quite common these days. And I was just about to start high school. And I remember that point, it was really difficult because I was getting prepared, being a big girl growing from primary or intermediate and starting this new journey of high school. And then realizing that I had this, I guess, something else that was rocking my world. I remember when my dad moved out of home and having to spend different times at mum's and dad's, and that was very different. I guess for me, what I found that helped is that I threw myself into something else, and it happened to be sport. So I use sport as a vehicle of dealing with my emotions. Sometimes frustration, and other times sometimes I was just at home and I was crying, and being able to deal with that grief and knowing that that is absolutely okay. Sometimes I have talked to other people who have experienced similar situations, and they tried to bottle up. And as you continue to bottle, it gets to a point where you absolutely burst. So what I've learned from my experience is being able to talk to someone that I trust and being able to vent that, yes, these feelings are normal to have. I need to be able to grieve in a way, or let out the sadness or these feelings of being upset. And then once I'm able to step back from those emotions and really understand my thought processes and what I'm thinking, being able to, I guess, push the energy in towards something else. So I chose sport. Going down. You go.
That's such an important corridor there. Was sport the option for you before going to college? Like, was it always sport?
Yeah, definitely. I've always been sporty since I can remember. I'm not very good at the arts. I'm so unco. I can't dance, and I'm not one of those Māoris that can sing yet. I wish I could, but I found that it was something that I enjoyed. And when you enjoy something, sometimes you forget about everything else that's going on, or you're able to, I guess, remove those emotions or those thoughts and push them into another direction.
Yeah, that's such a good corridor. So, as we know, emotions can be very high at this age, right? With a lot of things going on. If there wasn't, so what we're hearing you say is, sport was an outlet. Or is it an outlet, or was it a distraction, or both, do you think?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of both. At times, and it happens at different times, at the point where I want it just to be the outlet, it's actually the distraction. And when I want it to be the distraction, it's the outlet. And both of those are okay. I think it's being able to recognize when I realize it was a distraction, how can I also deal with the emotions that it's trying to distract me from, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So what I've learned is trying to look at that holistic, look at every single aspect that goes around me or that situation that's happening, and how can I learn from it and get the most positive experience from it moving forward.
Oh my gosh, we just spoke about that, before you jumped on, was how we can get the most positive or the positivity out of a challenging situation. And so the sharing of emotions, or the expression of emotions to others, who did you kind of lean towards for that corridor? Who helped you? Who was a listening ear for you?
That was a hard one, because sometimes I didn't feel comfortable talking to my parents. I think one thing that I realized is I could get stuck in the middle of mum might be talking about dad, or dad might be talking about mum, and not necessarily hearing my feelings. So I found it really important to seek or find someone outside of that immediate family, to just be a listening ear, someone that I felt was non-judgmental, and was just trying to be there for me, and not necessarily care about the gossip or the drama that some people actually take out of it. So I actually went to an auntie.
Oh, kia ora.
Who was already knew of the situation and could understand, but was more looking at me as the person and how she could help me.
That is so cool. Well, we might just get the whānau, the team, the Ropu, check in on the chat box, on the messenger team. Say yes if you've got a challenge outside of your sport. It could be, with friends. It could be with family. You don't have to say who it's with. You can just say, yep, I've got a challenge. And then maybe type in the chat box, how do you maybe express your emotions, or who could you share them with on how you're feeling? That's probably a better question, eh, Maia? Who could you share and corridor with? Someone that you trust. Like Maia said, she went and found and connected with an auntie. Mine was an older cousin. He was a role model I always looked up to. And yeah, same with you, Maya. I was really nervous about talking to most adults when I was younger. So he was really great. We've got some of them saying they'll talk to parents. We've got some saying they've got challenges. Some will talk to friends and parents. Kia ora. Anyone got a coach that they might talk to? Anyone that they feel they could trust a coach? That's another option. They might coach your current sport. So Maya, how did you find that, being able to talk with Auntie, and how did that help on the sports field? Court. Court.
I felt that, first of all, I knew I needed to deal with my own feelings because I didn't want to bottle them up. And I felt like if I did bottle them up, then I might take too much frustration out on the court. I might get too aggressive, and then I get pulled up by an umpire for being too rough. So for me, I felt like it was so beneficial because it took that load off of, I guess, putting that aggression in my sport, so I could just enjoy the sport for what it was, as well as being a distraction. It was a bit of both a distraction and an outlet, but I just wanted to make sure that at the end of the day, I was enjoying what I was doing. And that I could try and prevent anything that would make me not feel as happy.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm hearing you say there is that by talking to someone, it enabled you to feel the joy of the sport instead of having it as a, like, angry over here because something's happened, and then I take it out on the sport here and I'm angry here during the game. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't happen all the time. There's definitely been times where I've taken it out, and that's all good too. But what I've just realized is I'm trying to minimize those. So it'll happen every now and then, and that's completely fine, but trying to pick up on them so it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah. Cool. Give us a thumbs up, Whānau, if you've bottled some emotions up and taken it out on your sport field, whether it's in the game or after the game. I remember yelling before a game because I was so angry with a girlfriend, that a relationship I was in, and I remember taking it out on one of the other players before the game. Oh my gosh. Felt for that guy. He was late to a meeting, so he got it. So really rate the sharing, not letting it bottled up. That's the theme that we're getting here tonight from your kōrero, eh?
Yeah, definitely. And it helps, especially now. I still go through the same similar feelings and experiences. And sometimes it's actually harder because sport is my I get judged on my performance. So if I have a bad game, then they could be like, "Oh, you get cut."
Yeah, so that's why it's so important.
I don't have my phone, my internet's popping up.
That's all good. We got most of your kōrero there. What I heard was that the performance, because at your end of the game, top end of the game, you're picked on your performance, and if you let that, maybe those bottled up emotions affect your performance in a negative way, then that can affect if you're selected or not, eh?
Yeah, definitely. And especially because we're on TV too. So now every Tom and Harry and Auntie Karen down the road will comment or their Facebook keyboard warriors, and that's also really hard to deal with. So it's way better to try and offload your problems. Something like a problem shared is a problem halved.
Oh, I think that is the whakatauki of the day, I reckon. Do we get that, rangatahi? A problem shared is a problem halved. Before we go into the questions and get some questions from the Maya, just keen, this is a visual we've been sharing over the last few days. The whole goal of this program is to increase confidence. So what would your take be on this image here around, your plan versus reality?
The plan never happened. and it's okay. And I think for me, the start of my playing when I was younger was definitely straight line. I was someone who got things quite easily based on raw talent. I always made teams. And then I left school and became professional. And that reality was in my bench. And I've never sat on the bench in my life.
Wow.
Get dropped in the World Cup, which is the biggest events in my career. So it's all good, because what I've learned is it's all a part of the journey. And some of those parts where it hurts and it feels like you've been hit with a ton of bricks, but there's so many positive things that if you keep riding that wave, you'll slowly get to the point, if you continue to work hard or just believe and have hope.
Nice. Yes, belief and hope. And exactly what was being talked about from all our other speakers too, is that within these challenges is a lesson to be learned, and it will only help you grow. So good. All right, team. We're going to open up for questions, eh? So Elsa, let's go to you. I know you've always got some good questions going, Elsa. What question would you have for Maia? Why don't you let her know where you're from, what sport you play first, and then hit her with your question.
Hi, I'm from Tauranga, and my favourite sports are netball and water polo.
My kind of girl.
And
what sports did you play when you were younger?
Oh, what sports? I played many sports. I started off with soccer when I was young, and then the field got full size and I didn't want to run up and down a 100-meter field. So I then went to netball. I played basketball. I was athletics, volleyball, dabbled in a bit of volleyball, touch. My biggest thing that I say to young kids is play anything and everything under the sun, because there's so many skills that are transferable, and it's all about having fun. So what you will do in netball will help you in something like tennis or swimming. So yeah, great question.
Great message. Sorry, just charging up. Great message too. Playing as many sports as you can, what you enjoy. All right, who's got the next question, team? Just chuck your hand up or unmute. I know Sachin's got good questions. Oh, Sachin, can you hear us? I'm going to stop sharing here.
Yeah.
Where are you from? What school you go to? And then your question.
Hi, I'm from Whakatane. I go to Whakatane Intermediate School. My name's Session, and yeah, I like rugby. What's your favorite sport?
Out
of all of them?
You'll need a right from Whakatane, Flash. My favorite sport out of all of them, I would say basketball. I really enjoyed basketball growing up, and if I could, I would so love to do them both at the same time.
Kia ora. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Go to the Olympics. All right, I got Lyron and Lila, and then go to KK. And let's think of some questions. Like, you all want to achieve some goals in your life, and you're speaking to someone who's representing their country right now, named as yesterday in the current upcoming tour to England. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're speaking to a silver Fern on a Monday, team. So get the gold. Any questions you might have around how to help achieve your goals? But let's go to Lyron and Lila. What was your question? Give yourselves an intro.
Hi, Lila and Lyron, and we're from South Auckland, Manila. And did you think that you would make it where you are now? Like,
Kia ora kōrua. You want to know an interesting fact? Is I actually lived in Manurewa this year. probably down the road from you fellas. So you could have been my neighbor. I could have been your neighbor. You were my neighbor. Yeah, that's not Mount Pies. Yeah, that's not far from where I was. Did I ever expect to be where I am today? I hope so. Yeah, I want to say yes, because I dreamed big when I was younger. I didn't necessarily things, but yeah, I really hoped I would be in this position. So I'm stoked that I actually made it. Great question though.
Yeah, it is a great question. So what we heard there, Maya, was that you'd always dreamed big. And how did that occur for you? Because that was spoken about, Alexis yesterday spoke about imagining and dreaming. How did you do yours? Was it at night, just dreaming, daydreaming during the day?
For me, I feel like once I realized I wasn't too bad at sport, I just made that decision in the moment then and there that I wanted to be the best athlete I could be. And I'm a really competitive person, which is very common among elite sports people. We don't like losing. And so I wanted to be the best of the best in my position. And so when I saw someone who was coming at my heels or who was better than me, I just wanted to continue to work. So that would be, I used to have little journals. I used to write a lot in my dear diaries. I would also talk about my dreams to other people.
Nice.
So that helped me to achieve my goals. And I felt like once more people knew what I wanted to achieve, they were able to help me get on board and do that.
That is mean. Who's got a diary or a book that they keep some writings in, whether it's goals or tasks? Thumbs up. Anyone got a diary, something they write in?
Nice.
Kia ora. After each session, Maya, they get given a 24-hour task. And some of them chose 50 push-ups to do each day.
Whoa, even I didn't even do 50 push-ups.
Yeah. It was something to get out of their comfort zone. So they dreamed big there. KK, what's your question, brother? Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Caden and I live on the North Shore. My question is, who helped you train to get better?
Oh, kia ora. That's an awesome question. I had some really awesome coaches growing up, and I was lucky that I went to a high school that was quite good at sports. So once they sort of picked me up, I wasn't the best trainer growing up, if I'm being honest. So I found I would rather go to the shop and buy my $1 pack of lollies instead of doing the training. But I also had people who saw talent in me and made me go to training. Also my mum, a lot of the time, my mum was my taxi driver. She was my chef. She would drive me from South to East Auckland to the shore to everywhere to get me in one place. So it would be my mum who would take me there because I'd have to get someone to get me to training, and I would have a coach who would take me at 6 o'clock in the morning for runs, or make me come to training early or stay later to help me work on some of the things that maybe I needed a little bit of help with. So it's finding that person you trust. And a lot of the time, most of our coaches in our life are awesome and they want to continue to see you grow and be better. So trusting in them is a great step to take.
That's so cool. And did you have any other mates, that you would go and train with as well with the coach, or was it more on your own?
No, definitely. I had a lot of my friends, we were quite determined, so we would go together. Sometimes our coach couldn't come, so it would be our responsibility to try and do the training on our own. And it wasn't something that I was that good at. And a lot of the time, my friends were all fitter than me. So I would be quite sad at the back running by myself. But knowing that sometimes when you have that buddy, it just makes you that more accountable, or makes things easier so you don't feel so lonely. So if you can, grab a friend, and if it's good for you, it's good for them. You can both learn.
Yeah. We had Tamati Ellison on the other day. He spoke about his challenge was he was the smallest, quite often the smallest on the field, and that challenge caused him to train more with his skills, do more and more skill practice, and he would just practice and practice and practice and practice and practice, and that meant that he was able to be really skillful during game time. So that's a good partai and a good answer, Whānau. So maybe have a think about who you could connect with to help you practice your skills. Last couple, Honey and Jewel, did you have one? Give us an intro. Where you from?
Hi, I'm Honey. We live on the North Shore. This is Jewel. I go to Brookdale Intermediate, and she goes to Greenfield College. When you were training, was it like, did you get distracted a lot, or were you like listening, and were you like intrigued by how you had to train?
No, how do you two from Birkdale? That's an awesome question too. It depends on what type of training it is. If it was fitness, you bet I was distracted. And that's okay too, but I was lucky enough that I had people that would pull me in line. There was a lot of times where I'd want to just chat with my mates or eat my lunch while everyone else was running around. But I also knew I had a goal that I wanted to achieve. And I think trying to marry that up with a coach who was willing to support you and keep you in line, also, as well as someone like me who wanted to make sure that I could be the best that I could be. It was a balance of the both. Some days I was really focused, other days I wasn't. And that's all good too, but it's trying to make sure that you have less days of distraction and you're still working quite hard, but it's completely normal to get distracted. But if you have those friends that distract you all the time, maybe go to the complete opposite side of them.
Yeah, watch out for the all the time ones. Sometimes okay, the all the times. There's a great story. Even Dan Carter didn't listen to Graham Henry once or a couple of times in his book. He talks about that. So yeah, it's perfectly normal, Just notice when you're doing it. All right, team, we're coming to the end. So I want you to type in the chat box, what's the one thing that you got out of this kōrero tonight from Maia? What's the one lesson that you may have learned during the kōrero that Maia's talked about? Away we go, type it in the chat box. We'll see who can get their kōrero in there. And Maia, just talk us through, what do you do over the Christmas and festive season?
Oh, okay. So coming up, I'm definitely training throughout of it. I leave to London, so I go to England on the 8th of January, and I think I get 3 days off in between now and then. So I get Christmas Day off. I also get New Year's Day, I think, and the day before I leave. So every other day I'm trying to, I think I'm doing a run one day, do some strength stuff the next. So trying to alternate. You don't have to do it all, even if you're not trying to always stick into training, like go to the beach and get swimming, or go for a walk, or play some touch with some whānau. Training doesn't always have to be like fitness. Like, you can still enjoy it. It's more about keeping active over the summer break, and you can enjoy your Christmas treats. You best believe I'm going to be eating ham and all the good stuff, maybe some fry bread on Christmas Day. But yeah, definitely keeping active over this time and trying to do stuff that's fun.
Yeah, nice. Do stuff that's fun. All right. We have Kale's bit that he's got out of tonight is it's important to have a good coach and train when even you may not want to. Kia ora, Kale. Pai tō whakaaro e hoa. He's into his basketball too, Maia.
Neat.
He's got a goal of improving his jump. practicing his jump each day. All right, I want to see some others quickly before we go. Elsa, do you want to share what you got out of tonight's kōrero? KK, you going to write your one in there? Lyra and Lila, the one they got out is what you do out of your emotions. It could affect your performance. Kia ora. Paki paki. Ka pai. So really, I can see like an animated clip, Maya, around how bottled up emotions can affect, you know, like a little fizzy drink, and then if you shake it and then you don't let it out, then it can maybe impact. Anyway. Shot, Honey and Jewel, always have fun. Kia ora, za, hard work, better than talent. Oosh.
That's so true.
Shot, team. Oh, Maya, well, thanks heaps on behalf of the Ropu for your time and your busy schedule. So cool to be able to connect with the rangatei. So rangatei, let's unmute. Let's give another kia ora and paki paki. Ready? Toru, wha. Kia ora.
Kia
ora koutou, thank you so much for having me on. You guys are so neat to be able to do something like this. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hey, have you got 2 minutes, Maya, or do you need to shoot?
No, I'm good.
Sweet. All right, team. Hey, tomorrow we have someone who looks like me, my twin brother, who used to play for New Zealand Sevens, and he used to look out for the talent for all the Sevens teams, the Black Ferns and the men's, so they could win Olympic gold. So tune in tomorrow, same time, same place, okay? Ka rawe. We'll see you all tomorrow. Ka kite.
Yeah.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
See you. Bye. Thank you, Maya.
See you, fellas.